adresleri olabilir. Yani bazı mücadele balılar rakamlık mahsulat yakın skillerden alınıp öz yapısı ortağınızda yakınınızın oksalığınızı alınıp ilginiz vaktini özünün konumunuz vaktini aylandıraladı. Balıların elektronluk mahsulat rakamlık skillerinin sürüsünü çekler, ayakta öğreniniz. Balıların özünün kontrol kılısı kadar kadarınca çok
ғасырдың жиырма келгенде қыштақ тұрғыны зоя ханым Усман аның сөзіне
一把铁锹，哎呀，不好！难道狼哥他要偷东西吗？怎么可能？不会吧？万一要是呢？狐狸悄悄地跟在狼的后面，狐狸跟着他。
有一些他是不可能的。
当订购更多的机构之有旋风导弹，并签署了一项生化核力量合作的协议。
Советую тебе ее почитать.
你好，中国。Здравствуй, Китай. Международное радио Китая. Это серийная программа «Ни хао, Чунго». Здравствуй, Китай.
Слово на сегодня. Хунли, свадьба.
Малин, я вчера был на китайской свадьбе. Хунли. Так было интересно.
А у кого была свадьба?
Женился мой китайский друг. Рано утром мы с ним поехали забирать невесту. Сначала нас не пускали в ее дом. Жениху пришлось заплатить выкуп ее подругам и отгадать их загадки. Только после этого мы смогли увидеть невесту.
Это один из китайских свадебных обычаев. А, например, на юге Китая невеста горько оплакивает.
黃開發、南東少、陳承德、鄭玉龍等有關學者喺媒體古生物學報上發表。
野豬，可谁知野豬也。
Sorry, because they are disrupting the efforts towards the peaceful cooperation in the area. So I think it's better for these extra-regional powers to just watch and see, but not to get deeply involved and allow all parties concerned in the South China Sea dispute to settle the problem among themselves.
某些国家为了自身利益。 罔顾历史事实，违背国际法精神，挑战战后国。
But it's an exciting thing for science. It's a great moment.
Thanks, Mark. Astrophysicist Mark the Cochrane. Urban Grace's personal fortune achieved cult status with the published Астане.
На этом свадьба не закончилась. Вечером тоже было интересно. Например, существует обычай подшучивать над новобрачными. Ведь большинство...
What can we expect in these cities which offer protection to migrants?
I would submit that it's still illegal. It's a federal offense to come across the border illegally. And if you're harboring illegal activities and criminals, then you should be busted wide open. I mean, if New York City, for example, decided that they thought murder wasn't illegal and they were going to create a sanctuary area for murderers in the New York greater area, it's an extreme example, but should the Fed stay away just because New York says we're going to harbor them against the federal government's will and against really the Supreme Court's decision? So I think if you want to harbor illegal criminals, whether they're criminals for immigration or criminals for violent crimes, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get busted, and these folks that are doing it are going to come in front of law enforcement. I would suggest maybe even Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass if they continue up that road. And certainly, if Mamdani wins the New York mayoral race and says that he will allow all sorts of immigrants there to live and roam freely, and he would arrest Bibi Netanyahu at the foot.
Yeah.
If you change the laws of the land as a mayor or a governor, you're gonna feel the wrath of Donald Trump, and he means business with immigration.
Well, it might not need a change of laws because what is taking place in many parts of the country, in fact, I would say in most parts of the country, is de facto. I mean, if we look at immigration policies, it's going to impact the American economy in many ways. If we look at especially industries like agriculture, like the hospitality industry, like the construction industry, we've heard a lot of that. I mean, you're in Florida. That's a state that relies very heavily on migrants. But here is what Will Lambeck of Migrant Justice had to say. Let's listen to him.
The United States has had a do not entry sign on the southern border for decades, where right under it they put a help wanted sign.
So, Eric, don't you see the hypocrisy on that? On the one sign saying no entry, on the other one saying help wanted.
I don't think Trump is being hypocritical. I think he is very adamant about closing the southern border. And to his credit, in the month of May, the last reportable month, there were zero apprehensions, deliveries into the cities of America. And I'm not saying no people were stopped. I'm saying under Joe Biden, the average was 61,000 per month that were apprehended and let go into the United States. Trump had zero. He's very serious about that. What I think you're getting at, maybe the soundbite that you just played was getting at, was like, not help wanted sign underneath, but we all want cheap food. We all want inexpensive strawberries and grapefruits and avocados and whatnot. And yes, if you deport all the folks, I think 28% of the workforce is illegal in the agricultural business. If you deport that 28%, you're going to have to replace it with American workers, likely at a higher labor rate. And yes, prices will go up. So I think he's going to have to deal with higher rates of inflation for food, certainly, maybe even energy, if he does do this mass deportation like he plans, and I think he will. But then it's Donald Trump. So if he starts seeing food prices rise and inflation go up, and it's a negative towards, I don't know, his presidency or maybe even the midterm elections, he may pivot on the deportation. It's just what Trump does. He says this, I'm all in on this. He says, well, maybe not so much of that, maybe a little of this and this. It's the Donald Trump way. And for folks like, I'll say folks like the media or center-left people, it's very disconcerting to them because they want to hold him accountable by his work. I'm an anti-war guy. I hate the fact that he, the other day, just said we may provide more assets to Ukraine. But he pivots, and then I think to myself, it's still Trump and the success.
رادیو فردا رسانه امروز.
Everything that he promised to do, he's somehow making it happen, even though he pivots on a lot of the policies that we all want him to be firm on. We want to hold him accountable to.
And then there are also the questions about how this is done. If we look at the use of the military, the United States military, for instance, and this goes beyond.
Au final, ces nouveaux outils d'OpenAI, donc ChatGPT,
一到西安就成了稳定局势的。
and helped out with that. It's rare that we ever get the opportunity to be participating in a search with an outcome such as this.
Finally, on that same remote, rocky, northwest solitary island, 13 kilometers off the coast.
上的心思。